Well, we're on to Ten of Swords, part 15 of 22, and it's a banner day because we are getting a tournament fight in this issue. In fact, we're getting kind of two things that are happening in this issue. Yeah, excitement. It's coming, right? Hey everybody, this is Perch. It's X-Men Ten of Swords, part 15. This is Excalibur, number 14. And our cover shows a Magic, Psylocke, Betsy Braddock, Captain Britain, and Apocalypse kind of comforting a nervous Douglas Ramsey who's holding his sword. And as you remember from the New Mutants issue earlier, that was a big kind of get Doug psyched up to be a fighter, and he's probably going to lose his life. And so, you know, some bad things are coming for Doug. So what happens to Doug in this issue? I want to break in here for a moment to say, yes, there are spoilers. This is a review of a comic, so obviously you're going to get spoilers. This is a comic by Tini Howard and Phil Nato. And I want to put this disclaimer out there. Your enjoyment of the comic is up to you. I'm doing these reviews and I'm kind of walking through the comic, and I'll say my opinions on it. But unlike other people who do reviews, I respect your opinion on it. At the end of the day, whether you enjoy this comic or hate this comic is all about you. I'm giving my feedback. If I hate it and you love it, no problems. I don't think you're dumb. I don't think you have bad taste. Vice versa. If I love something that you absolutely hated, then I don't think I have bad taste. I think it's all individual, right? We like the things we like. And so I'm positive that with this issue, there's going to be people who enjoy it, and there's going to be some people who hate it, and the two sides are going to want to throw rocks at each other. But at the end of the day, it's up to you. You know, it's a comic book, and there's zero chance we're all going to like or hate everything. So it's natural that we're going to like and hate certain things, and we shouldn't get all crappy with each other over that. So, so take that for what it's worth. That said, I hated this issue so much. God, this is painful to read. So I have another thing that I do on this channel where I don't do roasts of comics. I don't review things that I absolutely hate. But I do fulfill my commitments. Earlier this year, I said I'm going to do the entire first event Marvel has out of the gate, Iron Man 2020. For those of you who listened to those videos, you saw how that tore at my soul and mind. So I try not to get myself in that situation again. If I know I'm going to hate something, I avoid it. So that is a dilemma, because this issue I struggled with, finishing the Ten of Swords set for the channel here, or just walking away, because I'm going to have a hard time. With this one. So, all right. Our comic opens up. You get a little quote from Apocalypse saying, "Make love to your fate. Find the most fearsome challenger in all of creation and make her your wife. Lie down at night beside your greatest threat to make love to your fate." Apocalypse. Doesn't really sound like a quote from Apocalypse, but okay. What does that have to do with this issue? Oh, we're going to find out, folks. So in the previous issue of Marauders, we found out that the first tournament battle would be Captain Britain, Betsy Braddock, no longer Psylocke, I suppose, fighting the Issa the Unbeatable, an impossible fight for her. So how will that play out? Well, our comic opens up with Jubilee, who's hanging out with her son, Shogo, who's now a dragon with a bandage around his neck, and she's just hanging out in the other world, the Forgiven Forest of Avalon. I'm not sure why she's just hanging out here. She likes it. Just didn't. I don't know if camping out with her dragon son is Jubilee's character, but whatever. That's got the least of our problems as we get into this. So Betsy basically phones her up to say, I know it's early, you're awake. I don't have much time. There's going to be a duel. I wanted you and Shogo to know in case. And Betsy's like, Jubilee's like, "Betsy, a duel? I'm awake. What's dueling? What's going on?" And she's like, "No, stay away from the Citadel. And then she has to go. This is a crappy message. There's no value to this. So Betsy was basically interrupted by Iska the Unbeatable, and who is coming in to kind of taunt her in her tent, saying, "Don't humiliate yourself out there. I won't be beaten." Kind of some trash talk. And we open up on this medieval times tournament. And for some dumbass reason, we've erected a Renaissance fair like tournament area, and there's some people in there who are going to watch. This is Ren Fair type stuff. So Betsy Braddock comes in. She's announced by her brother Jamie, and Iska the Unbeaten comes in, and the X-Men who are in the stands immediately start acting like complete dumb assholes. With Cable like "F her up, Captain," and Wolverine with the "Atta girl, Bets." And Magic is going, "You watching, Dougie? You might learn something. Betsy's a pro with a sword." Why they're talking like this, I have no idea. Why the X-Men are just hanging out in the stands. I mean, this whole thing is dumb. So they start fighting, and the Psylocke basically kind of has an initial trip into Iska, or I don't, a move. And Captain Avalon's me like, "She's got this in the bag," and then Wolverine comes in with the yeah, just holler for the lady. Like, what? So Iska counterattacks, and then the Arakko people are like, "Yeah, bring me your head," the vegetation woman says. What's crazy about this is, like, we've established, painfully over several issues, we've established personalities for these characters, and then fuck that. We're just right into just nonsense here. Bring me her head. Anyway, so they fight, and Iska basically immediately shatters the sword, and then she breaks up into a bunch of like glass pieces, and that's it. And Saturnine walks in and kind of steps over the glass pieces and says, "Oh, it's too late." Point to Arakko. "Let the priestesses handle this mess and head back to the Citadel. We've got a party." So we've had kind of one roughly 20-second thing where Betsy is seemingly destroyed into little pieces. I mean, there's clearly magic shenanigans going on, but all right. And she doesn't like, Saturnine doesn't like Betsy. So, and then, Captain Britain and Wolverine's like, they're angry. "What have you done?" And she's like, "Don't worry, they'll bring her back." "Oh, I suppose they can't if she dies here." And Captain Avalon's like, "I'll kill you." And Wolverine's like, "Settle down, Big Ben. I tried that already." And then Apocalypse is like, "This party you threaten, is it a challenge? Speak plainly." And she gives a card to Doug, who says, "It's basically your challenge." Then we get a little press release about Captain Britain losing in an upset, and people angry. Anyway, so he made some money, I guess, off Iska betting against his sister, I guess. I don't know. So all this is said, some maiden women grab Doug and drag him in, and then some other maiden women grab Bay, the Blood Moon character from Arakko, and Storm is like, "We have not even mourned Betsy, and we are losing Cypher because they're taking him to a party, I guess." And we learn that Doug can't communicate with Bay, the Blood Moon, and he's intrigued by this. He really wants to understand her. We get a little dialogue of they're both being drug away by maidens, and Doug's like, "I want to understand her." And then Brian's like, you told me they'd be humiliated, not destroyed." And none of this makes any goddamn sense. I mean, the writer who's doing this, Teeny Howard, is one of the architects of this event. So why they've chosen right now to have the characters all act completely randomly and different from what's been established for the last 14 issues in this event, it really makes absolutely zero sense. Whether you like the story, hate the story, look, these characters suddenly are behaving radically different than even the previous issue of Excalibur. This is like terrible fan fiction type writing. Anyway, we get a little data vial on Bay the Blood Moon, and the fact that she talks in a different way. She was silent for so long, so the doom note of her voice seeks to be understood, and it requires a near psychic connection, but it's Cypher can't understand her, so it can't be translated, and it's I guess we're steering into the fact that Doug knows languages. I don't know. So maidens start to dress up Doug in a little toga and flower headband, and they're giggling. And he's saying, "Just tell me when to get out my sword." And Magic, meanwhile, is like, "I think you look cute like that." And she's kind of joking. We're all still kind of in shock about Betsy. Is she for real gone? We don't know. I mean, and then Magic, who's been ultra serious again, just the previous issue of New Mutants, which had a lot of moments about Magic trying to tell Doug that this was serious and he needed to take it seriously, starts telling him, "I don't know, Doug. No one does. All of a sudden, it seems very possible that they're going to die." What? And it's like, did you read the last goddamn issue of U2? This like, this makes your brain hurt in how stupid this is, and it's going to get worse. So they go down the hall, kind of going over. They're talking about getting a makeover, and she's like, "It doesn't really look like another duel. Maybe more dinner." And at this point, we are, I don't know, 16 pages into this comic, and we've been building up to a tournament for 15 plus issues, and it's been promised. We got 2 pages of a half-assed sword fight between Betsy and Iska, and now it's like, well, screw all that. Let's play dress up with Doug. To be the point, the Doug getting dressed up and wandering down the hallway is the same amount of pages as our actual sword fight that was a tournament match. That's the same amount of pages they're devoting to this crazy nonsense. So anyway, they open up the doors, and apparently Doug is getting married. Why? I don't know. But now we've got this super idiotic scene of the Krakoans in one side of the altar and the Arakko people on the other. And they're like all, and Cable's like giving the double thumbs up, like, "You're getting married, dude." And why is he getting married? What the holy F is going on here? So who knows? But Doug's like, "Wow, I'm happy not to have to fight you. I could kiss you. I guess I am going to kiss you. Oh boy." And then Wolverine's like, "This is hell next to a quick death." And Gorgon's like, ha 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 ha. And it's like who's writing this dialogue? God, like, bring me mountains of Bendis text. It would be more merciful than this crazy nonsense. So they both do their vows, which Doug can't understand, but Apocalypse can. So he's like, "These are good vows. You should just accept them." And then she takes off her veil, and we get a look at her face for the first time, and she's pretty, I guess. And Doug is so horny and turned on that he doesn't even know what to say. So just as he's about to kiss her and seal the deal, which I guess this is the tournament fight, marriage, the dragon, Jubilee, riding her son, who's been turned into a dragon, starts burning down the citadel. And basically she doesn't know what's going on. So Storm flies in, and Bay, the Blood Moon, puts back on her thing, and he's like, "What are you going to do? Please don't. I don't know if you can understand me. I've never had anyone be the same kind of fascinating mystery like you are. I just have to concentrate a figure, and then I just stare. What am I saying?" And so she gives him a big kiss. And meanwhile, Storm goes up and kind of tries to get Jubilee to back off and settle down. And Saturnine, watching all this stuff goes down, basically decides to do some magic and causes some fireworks to go off. And Doug's been making out with Bay the whole time, and the dragon flies over to Saturnine as her kind of loyal, brainwashed pet. So Saturnine has Shogo the baby is hers. And Jubilee basically is being carried by Storm. She's lost her baby to Saturnine, I guess. And meanwhile, they conclude the wedding and say, it's put Saturnine in a good mood, and so they give a point to each. So you have 2 points Arakko, because Betsy got shattered into glass, 1 point Krakoa, and Doug is married. And that's our comic. Yay! I don't know. The problem for me, there's so many problems here. It's not just the bait and switch of promising a tournament and then we've got a wedding for some reason. Like, why the fuck do we have a wedding? Like, what this is like one of those things. Like, I'll bet you didn't see one of those twists coming. It's like, no, I guess not. But who cares? Like, I didn't. Who wanted this twist in the first place? This is a dumb twist. It's like, I mean, it would be like if the next James Bond movie, the movie began and it's like he's running from criminals, but then he decides, you know what, I've always wanted to learn ballet, and he goes in there, and the villains go in there, and then they have a 2 hour competition learning ballet, and then they all hug at the end. And it's like, ha ha, defy expectations. How about that James Bond film? And you're like, no, nobody wanted this. Nobody wanted this. And there's always some dumbass who raises their hand, like, I wanted this. And it's like, then the characters acted completely out of personality. Not like, I'm not talking about with the last 40 years of continuity. I'm talking about the last issue. Like the characters all got stupid in this issue. They were smart in the previous issue. We had scenes at the dinner party of like Magic trying to do tactics to try and figure out kind of different skills and attributes of the fighters. And in this issue, Magic is like somehow stupid and is like, I never thought that we could be in danger. And like, why in the hell did this happen? Why is this a thing? I don't know. Yeah, it's a painful comic. I guess we're heading to Wolverine next, so let's see how it goes. I really don't at all understand the absolute terrible characterization here. Absolute characterization. Super bad. So the one thing we've realized, and spoiler for the next issue of Wolverine, where the next issue of the tournament, they take away the swords. Like it's go collect the swords, and then immediately they start the tournament and say, we don't, but I'm getting ahead of myself. Hey, tune in to the next video. We get to Wolverine. There you go. If you like this issue, honestly, I am happy for you. I don't think you're dumb. I don't, your opinion different mine, all cool. I tried to lay out why I hated it. All good. So let me know why you loved it. But this is a comic written for people who have only a passing understanding of the X-Men universe, don't really want to know more about the X-Men universe, and are just kind of giggling at this idea of having their weird ass fan fiction ideas represented in a published comic. That's my take on it, but you may have a different opinion, and that is okay. I'm going to have a drink. Like, subscribe. All those X-Men, X of Swords, Ten of Swords fans, downvote the hell out of this. You know you want to. I'm just having to be honest here. Thanks for listening.